Welcome. I'm so excited. Welcome to episode 2 of Lunch and Learn series, where we share real stories by real people to help you along your parenting journey. And I'm so excited. I have the reinvention coach in the room with us today. Before I bring her on, I would like to read a little bit of her bio, and then, we'll get into this very interesting conversation about when a child makes a mistake. So I have in the room with me visionary Tobiloba Davies. She's a leader. She's a reinvention coach. She's an entrepreneur. She's a woman of many, many graces. She's committed to equipping women to discover their identity, align with purpose, and lead transformative lives. And we're here for all of that. She's the founder of RivHer Nexus, a growing community and idea resource hub for women in transition. She's also the co-founder of Chrys and Ben Designs, a creative design studio redefining how spaces inspire purpose and expression. Isn't that so good? So she's passionate about building ecosystems where vision meets strategy and women rise as catalysts for change in their families, vocations, and nations. So with a warm welcome, join me as I bring on stage visionary Tobiloba Davies.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. I
Yeah.
am you're going to, reintroduce yourself, say something, because the reinvention coach is in the room. And I'm so glad that we're having this conversation together. You know why? We're
Yeah.
talking about making mistakes, and you are
Mhm.
the reinvention coach, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know that you have a lot of experience, a lot of thought leadership on
Yeah.
this subject. And
Yeah.
I'm so happy that we get to have this conversation together. So let's get to know you. I know I said a brief bio, but can we just meet you? Tell us
Um,
about Tobiloba.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a privilege. I do not take that for granted. Yes. So, well, I'm a mom of four. I'm a wife. And, like you said, don't let me start reading my bio all over again. But aside being a reinvention coach, an interior designer,
Mhm.
and I'm a minister as well. And every the recurring theme about my life is new beginnings and hope. And that's because God is a God of several chances. And I'm just on a
Mhm.
mission on that purpose, to align with Him in that mission to say that He's always doing a new thing. He doesn't give up on us. God will never give up on you. It means that transformation can happen to anybody at any time. God is always open because it deals with us with love. So I'm on
Mhm.
that mission, the mission to tell people about the hope, to make them see the love of God, and also to let them know that whatever situation, wherever you find yourself right now, whether you're in transition, things that happened to you, whatever it is, God is giving us a chance to always begin from a place of
Mhm.
wisdom again.
Oh my goodness. I love it. I love that you mentioned the word hope.
Yeah.
And hope sometimes is what we have to latch onto and guard with
Yes.
all of our lives,
Yeah.
irrespective of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because anytime we run into issues, concerns, difficult seasons in life, the very first thing that the enemy tries to attack is hope.
Yeah.
And we know on our parenting journey, there will
Mhm.
be seasons.
Yeah.
There'll be times where we feel like we know what we're doing. There'll be
Mm-hmm.
other times where we're like, oh my goodness, what is happening here? But
Yes.
before we get into our conversation today, when you talk about hope, you also mentioned God.
Yes.
I think about God as a first parent, and
Yeah.
I look at the very first example of a mistake that
Mm-hmm.
that was made in the Bible and how
Mm-hmm.
God handled that situation as our first parent, right?
Yes.
We know of
Right.
Adam and Eve. Instruction, first of all, identity was given.
Yes.
identity was given, right?
Mhm.
Let us make man in our own image, after our own
Mm,
likeness. So identity was given, frame was given, the breath and the life of God, capacity, all of that was established. Then
mm,
instruction. These are the guardrails.
mm,
These are the guardrails. Instruction was given,
mm.
yet we fell.
Yeah.
Adam and Eve fell.
Yeah.
But what I'm less about the fall, I'm
Mm.
more about the restoration, the spirit
Right.
of
Right.
reinvention
Right.
that
Yeah.
came afterwards. And that's why I
Yeah.
want to have this conversation with you, because
Yeah.
there were natural consequences of the
Mhm.
fall.
Mhm.
However, he didn't leave them naked. He
Yeah.
didn't leave them uncovered. He didn't
Mm.
leave them exposed.
Yes.
And then he wasn't, even though there was a disconnect within the spirit, he was never far away, because they still were able
No.
to call upon God in a
Yeah.
fallen state. So let's
Right.
go, let's go there. I'm excited
Right.
right now.
Yeah.
You know, listen, and let's establish this for our audience. Parenting is a continuous journey, right?
Yes. On the job training.
Exact on the job training. You
Yeah.
don't get a certificate, you just okay, yeah, you have to do this. I want to
Right.
lead into the first question, Toby.
Mhm.
When you reflect back to your childhood experiences, how
Yeah.
you grew up,
Mhm.
what things that had happened, can you
Mhm.
share some unintended lessons
Okay.
that you have learned from making a mistake as a child?
All right. I'll give two lessons. I'll give two lessons that I learned. First is that I grew up thinking that uh, being being earning favor from parents was based on performance. From
Mm,
parents, from adults, from anybody, that it was
mm,
based on performance. So I
mm,
thought that I always have to be right to gain acceptance.
mm,
You
mm,
understand? So I was always constantly working on, I just want to be right by this person. I just want
mm,
to be right by my dad. I
mm,
tried hard to impress my dad. I wanted to really impress my mom. If I do not do well in school, I'm feeling bad to say, oh, I just want to impress them. And you know where it came from. Typical
mm,
African parents, they don't get
mm.
impressed easily like that.
No,
I
they don't.
remember when for a long time I was chasing to come first in my class, like to come take the first position and all. And I really, really tried. And then on one occasion, I changed to a new school. And in this new school, I came first. And then my cousin, my big cousin, then she followed me for the end of the year party, and she got my report card, and she was like, "Oh, you came first. Your daddy will be so happy with you and all that." And I was so proud of myself. And I got home, and my mom saw the report card, and she was like, "So what? How many people are in the class?"
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh my God, I really tried for this. And I'm so proud of myself that I came first. What are you talking about? Right. So, but over the time, growth and maturity taught me that I don't have to be right for people to love me. I
Mm,
don't have to be perfect for people to accept me.
mm,
I
mm,
should just be myself. It doesn't
mm,
excuse that's not an excuse to be a bad person, but I don't have to be a perfect person.
mm.
I just have to be an
Be
authentic
yourself.
person.
Mm,
And then the second lesson I learned was vulnerability. I never knew that being vulnerable was the key to acceptance. I thought that if I do anything bad, I just have to hide it.
mm,
So, but then growing up and then with the knowledge of God, we got born again. We started understanding that, look, that was what Adam did. He was
mm.
hiding.
Was
Why? He said,
hiding.
I'm
Mm.
afraid because, why? Because I'm naked. Who told you? That was the
Mhm.
question that God asked. Like,
Yeah.
who told you? I was
Mm,
sharing with someone earlier this week, and I said, do you know that I was studying something about the origin of fear. And I said, do you know that if after eating the apple, Adam and Eve, if they had just come to God to say, God, we've eaten this thing. Here we are. Do you know the story might have been different?
who-
Because God has already slaughtered the lamb of God before the foundations of the, already there was a plan for them.
Right.
That hiding was the problem, and the enemy just brought fear. Fear came. He said I was afraid. He said, well, what? Except because I was naked, I hid myself because I was afraid. So being vulnerable even before God is the way out of fear. So
Mm,
I didn't know that while I was growing up, but I later, learned that, oh, some of the things I was trying to hide from my parents that now led to other mistakes, and then it becomes a ripple. You understand?
mm,
I should
mm,
have just come out to say, oh, this was what I did. And, we what the consequence would have been the consequence, whatever it is, than, just trying
mhm.
to cover a lot of things, like that. Yeah.
Mm. Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful.
Mm.
Those are really key lessons that
Yeah.
it would have taken a lot of work to come out of that type of thinking. I was
Yeah.
telling my kids the other day, we're reading material, and he said, when you change your thinking,
Yeah.
you can change your future.
Yes.
It's just what we, and the power of the thoughts, the power of the stories we tell ourselves based on our interpretation of the events.
Mm.
Oh my God, is so powerful. And that's one of the reasons why we're encouraging, parents to be more involved in the lives of their children, like
Mm.
actually listening more. Because how would you know the conclusion a child has made about a matter if you did not ask
Yeah.
them the question?
Yeah.
Like you said, oh, Adam, where are you? Who told you anything? I mean, to see how did they come about that conclusion?
Yeah.
So conversations really have to be made. Oh, I can so relate to any favor based on performance. Sometimes I have to catch myself like, calm down. You are
Yeah.
enough. So let's go here. And I don't intend to romanticize making mistakes.
Yeah.
There's a group where, it's okay. Oh, you look so cute when you made that mistake. It's fine. It's all
Mm.
right. There's a lot of sugary conversations about an error without real discipline, correction, instruction, engagement, connection, even that allows the person, a child, to really understand, hey, this happened. So my
Mm.
question to you is this, thinking about making mistake, is there any such thing as a bad mistake? Like, I
Mm.
mean, tell, tell us, is there anything?
I
What do
don't
you think?
think mistakes are actually bad in themselves.
Okay.
Right. I think the refusal to learn from those mistakes is actually what is wrong.
Mm,
You understand? Now, every mistake carries its own message, whether good or bad. You understand? There is a message that comes out of a mistake. Now, like I said, mistakes are not the problem, right? Now, growth depends on the story you tell yourself after that mistake. You can make a mistake, like you said, some people can pamper that mistake and
mhm,
just move on from it. And they find all these enabling factors, like we say, they'll say,
mhm,
it's not totally wrong,
mm,
and not a mistake is it, and they don't own up, they don't take responsibilities. But when you take responsibility and you learn a lesson from that mistake, when you
mm,
look at yourself, you look back and you say, what can I learn from this? Now it's coming from a place of wisdom, then you determine whether this is going to become a wound or wisdom for you. So, are you going to be like somebody will always ask, are you going to be a victim of the mistake or you will be a student of that mistake?
mm,
So, you have to tell yourself that, like, what is going to come out of this is the deed has been done, right? But what am I taking away from it? I think that's when we say that something is a bad mistake or a good mistake. It's not actually bad because we are humans. Things happen. But are you growing from that incident? Are you going to take growth from there? Like I said earlier, are we going to say it's going to become a wound for you or it's going to become wisdom for you? What label are you going to put on that mistake?
I want to lean in on that a little bit. When you're
Yes.
making that comparison between wound and wisdom,
Yes.
how much of a weight does the environment and the voices that are around you how much of a role do we play
Yeah.
in the outcome of a mistake? If we establish that there's no such thing as a bad mistake,
Yeah.
and the hope of every parent is that, okay, that there are lessons to be learned from this.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, how big of a role is what we, how our reaction when the mistakes happens, what we say when the mistakes happens, how do we ensure that, it turns out as a wisdom and not a wound? It turns out that they come out as what's the word, they don't leave that experience as a victim. They
Yeah.
can truly see their part and take ownership. This
Mm.
is what I did, and
Mm-hmm.
then learn from it. But, like, what role does our environment play in all of this? And
I mentioned something earlier. I said, are you going to be a victim of life, or you're going to be a student of life?
mm,
You understand? Now, the environment, you see, all of us, we all need to ask God for mercy at one point or the other, because we all contribute to the society. We all
mm,
contribute to the status quo. We all contribute to the culture to say this is how things should be done. This is what is expected. If it's not done that way, it's like we sentence people,
mm,
to whatever mistake that they do. Now, this is it. We should always learn to extend grace and also learn to focus on that incidence in itself instead of just generalizing. So when mistakes happen, let's try not to let that mistake define that person.
mm,
You understand? Like, let's face that mistake as a unit and tackle it. That's how people can learn from it without having to deal with a repeated wound or living in that wound. You see, healing comes when you take that thing as a unit, when you face it, when you face that situation on its own. When you face it, that's when the healing start to come, right? So,
mhm,
and healing start to also come when we allow that person to first forgive themselves. That person has to forgive themselves for doing that thing that they did. And we also need to let them know that we've forgiven them. You understand? So, like I said earlier, you just have to deal with that situation as a unit.
mm. Isolate the situation from the
Isolate
person.
that situation, and let's not allow, we it's just culture. It's just rules that nobody actually wrote it down, but somehow is an unspoken rule everywhere. Things like that happen. But like I said earlier, isolating the situation, I think that's what we should do, and that's how we can help our children as well.
Hmm, hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And asking the right questions, and
Yes. Yeah.
hopefully the environment at home is safe enough for the
Yes.
child to feel comfortable
Yes.
owning up to mistakes, owning up to errors.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
think, like you said, asking the right question. Why did you do it? Okay. Even if they don't, sometimes we don't have explanation
They'll
for the
say, I
mistakes
don't know.
that I don't know. All right. Now that you have done it, what can you see from it?
Mm,
How do you feel about it? Do you want to feel that same way sometime, like later? You still want to keep feeling that way? Do you think it's a good feeling? What lesson can you learn from it? So
mm,
I think that's how we can help them, because they may not be matured enough to go through all that thought process. You
mm.
understand? But
You
as
have to sit
as
and ask
parents, we can help
them.
them to ask those questions. So those questions are the questions that would the answers will now lead them to maturity.
Mm,
So they
mm,
know the reasons why that thing should not happen again.
mm.
Yeah.
This is so good. This is
Yeah.
so good. And for our audience, our reinvention coach, she's a mother of four.
Yeah.
So she has a wealth of information to share with us, and we really honor you for being here.
Thank
I
you.
want to ask this question. We've talked about environment, we talked about asking the right question, we talked
Mhm.
about isolating the situation from the person,
Mm.
making sure that our words are not
Mm.
reinforcing the wrong identity in the child just because they made a
Mhm.
mistake. I want to
Mm.
ask you this. If you reflect on your own parenting journey,
Okay.
what's one thing you wish you had done differently or done sooner in your parenting journey when it comes to handling a child's mistake?
Mm. I think I don't know. I don't know if this is peculiar to me
Hmm.
or other parents experience the same thing. The fact that sometimes I feel like I want to be the superhero.
Hmm.
Like
Okay.
I want to quickly rescue them from that
From
mistake.
their mistake. Hmm.
Sometimes I wish that I knew earlier that I can pause when the thing happen and let's just see how everything plays out and let
Hmm.
them figure it out by themselves, at least, so that they can learn from me. Sometimes just pause so that they can and I think it comes from the place where we think that we allow the mistake of our children to reflect on us when we judge ourselves for their mistake.
Hmm.
You understand? And we are trying to look for a way to quickly turn
But it's
the
not about us,
and it's
really.
not about us, but we want to quickly find a way to turn the situation around. You
Hmm.
understand? So
Hmm.
immediately we are making correction. We are doing when we are supposed to listen more. So I wish that sometimes I could pause, and listen more. You understand? And sometimes it's from the place of unhealed fear from our own past, from our own. Sometimes the fear will just overwhelm you to say, "Oh, when I was a child, I think I did this kind of thing." And this is
Hmm.
what it led to. Oh, maybe this, let me quickly jump in so that my child doesn't did we project our fear on our children.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yes. So sometimes I wish that I paused before reacting, to the situation, which
Hmm.
is something I'm now learning to do.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's a powerful thought.
Yeah.
It really is to just stop and don't react first.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
to say that,
We can
hey,
we can we
we're
can
going to talk about this
empathize.
later this evening, or we're going to
Mm,
talk about this tomorrow.
yes.
Now go to your room.
Mm-hmm.
you
Or,
know?
or we can empathize. I mean, I feel for you, but not necessarily that I want to quickly do something to save you. You know, S- th- Sometimes the environment just creates this form of anxiety, which already they are anxious because of what they did. They're already in that situation. Now, our response goes a long way to see if we want to really create that party of anxiety or we really want to, just pause, and so that we can give ourselves time to reflect on what has happened and handle it the right way.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can I 100% resonate with that.
Mm.
I understand. That sometimes when my kids were so young, whenever they're crying as a baby, you're so uncomfortable. It makes you feel somehow when your children are
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Hmm.
You're when they are hurting, you're hurting as well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's wisdom in knowing, okay, where is that boundary line?
Hmm.
When can I step in?
I like that example that you gave, especially babies. You see, when they start crying, it's just natural for every mom to always want to, oh, let me go pick them up. Let
Mm,
me go pick them up. But really, but for some reasons, I think while I had my first two, my boys, something in me just thought that I should allow them to be independent on time. Now, independence means that even as a baby, I didn't allow that how do attachment syndrome, because I noticed that my first had that. He just could not do anything without me. We were just together all the way. By the time it was two, I was now starting to realize that this boy cannot really, this is beyond just, oh, I don't see my mom, I'm crying. This is really serious. Like,
mm,
he will be crying, I'll be crying. Both of us will be crying. It was so bad. And he will not eat. He won't take food from anybody except, like, that was so stressful. You understand? And I just didn't want that to continue. So at
mm,
some point, I just decided, I said, see, first, you guys should start sleeping in a separate room.
mm,
By the time I had this brother, I said, look, from now on, you sleep in separate, you are not sleeping in my room.
mm,
You understand? So And after a while, things now started happening to me. My then marriage, things were happening. Issues of life. Life was life. And thank God I took that step, because there was a period that we were separated for a while. That
Mm,
I couldn't see them. I had to move. Now, if they were not used to sleeping independently without me, only God knows what would have happened to them.
mm.
So sometimes God find a way. It prepares us. If we're
Yeah.
sensitive to all those things, we allow them to grow on their own. You
Mm,
understand? Like, it's not we don't have to be the superhero. You know, sometimes when they do things, let's just see, we are just stewards. They are God's children.
they are.
Let's just, and God said, your children will be taught of the Lord. Look, He said He will be the one to teach them. Let Him do His job. Let God do His job to teach them.
Hmm.
So we can't always always step into their situation all the time.
Hmm. Okay. There's a party. There's a thought.
School of
Um,
thought.
the school of thought. Thank you. I've used party. I've used group. Thank you for the
Yeah.
the school of thought. They're like, okay, yeah. Obviously, I want to clarify by saying, the kind of independence that we're saying here, we're not talking about neglect.
No, 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 not
Mm.
neglect. No,
We're not
no,
talking about, okay, trying to make the child independent and there's no supervision at all.
no, no, no.
No, we're talking about giving the child enough room for them to be able to respect themselves as an
Yeah.
individual, as
As
a
an
person
individual. Yeah.
capable of thinking and
Mm-hmm.
making choices,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? We're not saying that as much, nobody wants their children to make mistakes. Nobody wakes
Yeah.
up in the morning and says, on my to-do list is make
That
this big
mistake.
mistake,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right. Yeah.
Nobody prays for that. Even in the
Mm-hmm.
best situation and circumstances, when you do see it, you will still feel that hurt and pain. So
Yeah.
I want us to kind of lean into this because I've seen people maybe on the extreme end just feel like, well, they feel like they've done all they can to help
Mm,
that child. So you just kind of let go and let them figure it out on their own.
mm,
There's the other thoughts where it doesn't matter even if it's an adult child, it doesn't matter. They keep at it until they're always there. They always show up. They keep at it until that situation is resolved in the life of that child.
mm.
Now, both parties, people have things to say, different school of thoughts on that. But
Yeah.
I want us to try and answer this question because that's the
Yeah.
common ground with both
Mm,
school of thoughts. Truly, do all mistakes lead to growth?
mm,
And then who is responsible for the growth?
mm,
Is it the parents or the child?
mm.
Where does our responsibility start and stop? Let's go into that a little bit here because there is team independence, there is
Yeah.
team I'm a parent for life.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
At some point, love and responsibility has to meet.
Mm,
And that's where growth occurs,
mm,
right? Not all mistakes are automatically a catalyst for growth. Not all mistakes will lead to growth automatically. Let me
mm.
put it this way: only processed mistakes will lead to growth.
Processed mistakes.
Only processed mistakes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And processed mistake is reflections. Reflections. And when it comes to this responsibility that we're talking about, is a shared responsibility.
Mm,
Your child has a place where they take their own responsibility. As a parent, we also take responsibility where it is necessary. So it's a shared thing. Nobody gets we don't point fingers to say, oh, you did it and it's all you. I've taught you how to do this and you didn't do it. What if you didn't teach the right thing?
mm.
Because we all, in everything, we all have roles to play, in the decision making. So now it is the responsibility of the parents to provide an enabling environment
Okay.
for that child, to provide an environment of grace. Yes, that's what I want to say. An environment of grace for that child to make a decision and learn from that mistake. You understand? You're not going to, and as a parent, you can't force a child to learn, but your own is to create an environment so that you know, the reflection can convert that experience to wisdom, like we've said before.
Hmm.
You understand?
That's the
So
currency of conversion.
yes, yes, that's the
Reflection.
currency. Reflect, yeah. So like I'll say, think of it as a garden, right? Think of it as a garden. The parent tills the ground. You understand? Eh, you till the ground, you create an environment and all that, but it's still the responsibility of that child to choose to sow and sprout again.
Hmm.
So it's a shared responsibility. We can't say that, oh, now the parents is responsible. That's where the devil introduces shame. Because when you keep trying, and that child, you are not allowing the child to do his own part. You feel everything is your part. The part that you cannot do, that the child is supposed to do, they are failing at it. You start
Hmm.
shaming yourself and start
Hmm.
telling yourself that you are a bad parent. When you've done your part, allow the child to do their part too.
Hmm.
So growth happens where love and responsibility means you provide an enabling environment of love, create an environment of grace, and let that child take responsibility for what they've done.
You are going somewhere with this. So you're pushing a button here. What happens when we're too busy to create an enabling environment? What
Mm,
happens when we're dealing with our own trauma, right? We don't
yeah.
even know how to, you
We
can
don't
be
even know
a
where we
stay-at-home
are.
mom. You can, but you don't even know how to create an enabling environment. You don't know the child. No child was born with a manual, like they say, right?
Yes,
They are,
yeah.
you have to study or make
Mhm,
observations, make
mhm,
inquiry, pray.
mhm,
In the
mhm,
Bible, what did Rebecca do? Was it Rebecca,
mhm.
right? There was so much going on within her womb. She had to inquire to the Lord, like, what's going on here?
Yeah, you're right.
So what do we do? Help us. How do we even begin to say, okay, I want to create that enabling environment? Where
Yeah,
do we even start from?
look, creating an enabling environment it's not really rocket science like that. I
Okay.
think it's just the kind of relationship you have with your children. I have seen moms who are physically available. They're at home, they're still our own moms, they're not going anywhere. Yet if
Things are
anything
happening.
happens, things are happening under their nose.
They are not aware.
I'm telling you, it's not all about, I think it's
Mm,
just the psychology behind it. I've seen a
mm,
mom that she's not okay, she has a job, but her job allows her to stay at home and all. But when the child makes mistake or they do things that are wrong, she doesn't correct. And then
mm,
one day when the child now does one small thing that is wrong, she will now carry cane and beat blue and black and everyone and want the change to happen in one day. It's not like that. It's not like that. So the thing is, you can be busy. Yes, we understand. You can, but what kind of relationship do you have with your child that can make your child come and say, ah, I did it?
mm.
You know, I think it's the psychology behind it. It's not about being busy or being yeah, and I'm not excusing the people that are busy and all that. Me inclusive, myself inclusive. Sometimes I tell myself to be is too much.
Slow
Slow down.
down.
Slow
Yeah.
down. All right.
Mm.
Well, once I see that they're already gossiping about me. Yes. And you know the younger ones, they are very fearless.
Yes.
They can see anything. When they start asking questions, is they not supposed to be mommy's off day?
Oh
When
my
they ask you
God.
questions like that, I know that okay, all right, it's time to slow down.
Mm.
We can be all guilty of it. Especially everybody want to do something, want to make
Right.
money. We have
Right.
different reasons, but
Right.
I
Right.
think what you share with them, let them know how valuable they are to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, saying you are valuable to me, I love you. You even if you don't say I love you every day, let it be obvious that you love them.
Right.
You know, let it be obvious that you have them in mind and they are your priority. So that's the creating the environment that we're talking about. It's not necessarily and I'm not saying we should not be there physically. Yes, it's that helps, it goes a long way
It
to be there
does.
physically. But when you are there physically, what are you doing?
Mm.
you know.
Mm,
And if it's that you are, a
mm,
multi, how do they put it, a multi-influencer, kind of person that you really have a lot to do. The
mm.
little time that you have, how valuable is it, how valuable do you spend, how do you spend that time well with them? So yeah.
That's so beautiful. That's so
Yeah.
beautiful. I
Mm.
think of, in the midst of the busyness of life, you find
Yeah.
a rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
You're slow enough to make observations and
Yeah.
also fast enough not to leave your responsibilities be too fast to leave, you know, too slow to leave your responsibilities behind.
Mm-hmm.
There's a rhythm. There's
Yeah.
a rhythm for every family that
Mm-hmm.
we must kind of flow into that natural rhythm. Don't be too much in a hurry, is what I'm trying to say. And
Yeah.
then don't be left behind at the same
Mm-hmm.
time. So there's
Yeah.
that rhythm. I want
Mm.
us to kind of ask this question because I'm excited. I know you have new things coming up. We're going to get to you in a little bit, but one of the reasons why I was excited about having a conversation with you as a reinvention coach is because
Mm-hmm.
when I think of grace,
Mm.
and you've used the word grace in our conversation. When I think of grace, I think of two things. I think of restoration and I
Mm-hmm.
think of reinvention.
Yeah.
We can use transformation.
Yeah.
That is the fuel. That is what we call grace. It's
Yeah.
not that grace does not excuse you or excuse
Mm-hmm.
the event. It
Mm.
actually restores.
Yeah.
It gives you a blueprint
Yeah.
to come back to the original design, original intention of
Mm-hmm.
God for our lives. So
Yes.
in the midst of our children making many mistakes, there are
Mm.
certain things that, okay, how do we restore?
Mm.
How do we transform? How do we make this become a wisdom and not a wound like we shared earlier?
Mm. Yeah.
Along those lines, that's one of the reasons why I wrote this book,
Mm.
Acha and the Key. I
Mm.
I was telling a story from various lenses, primarily from the perspective of an orphan, of a
Mm.
girl who had so many things happen to her,
Yeah.
and and I chronicled her journey, the
Mm.
twists, the turns, the
Mm.
things that she had to deal with to
Mm.
tell a lesson of
Mm.
grace. And there's a particular character in this book who tried to reinvent themselves,
Mm.
um but sorry, I saw a little fly, who tried to reinvent themselves, however did not get the kind of outcome that they were thinking that they would get. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
spoil I don't want to spoil the story, but I want to throw
Yeah.
this question at you. um if you reflect back,
Yeah.
what story would you tell your 13-year-old self to help her get ready for the
Mhm.
important things that happened, to you? Can you let
My
us?
30-year-old self. I still remember that girl. All right. First, I'll say, this happened to you. your
Wear your
eyes,
seatbelts, get ready.
your eyes will see you. Go calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down. Well, I'll tell my 13-year-old self one. First, I'll tell my 13-year-old self that you see, don't be in a hurry for anything.
Mm,
Whatever will work, will work. Don't be in a hurry for anything. There's no do or die anything anywhere. And then I'm going to tell her that every mistake you make is a clue pointing you back to something,
mm,
pointing you
mm,
to who you are, to
mm,
who you truly are. Don't rush to fix the looks of the broken parts.
mm,
Even if it cracks,
mm,
it's going to become a beautiful design at the end of the day. Light will shine through that cracks.
mm,
You understand? The light of your destiny will shine through those cracks. You see, God redirects our journey from our place of brokenness.
mm,
You remember that we had this course, one of those lectures we had from DDK, and she was talking about the voice of God, how God speaks in different ways. And
mm,
she mentioned the voice of pain. You see, in your place of pain, your place of brokenness, when you look properly, you would see something pointing you to destiny in that pain. God doesn't waste our pain.
No.
So don't just rush out of any mistake. Don't rush out of any challenges. In fact, do not rush out of any victory as well.
Hmm.
Hold it. Every testimony is your weapon for the next thing.
Hmm.
Everything, every victory you have, every mistake you have, everything will become a weapon. Everything. David told Saul, when Saul was asking him, will you be able to face Goliath? He said, I have fought the lion, I have fought the bear.
There.
The God that delivered me from these two, he
Hmm.
will deliver me from the hands of this uncircumcised Philistine.
Listen.
So everything that we go through, it becomes a weapon. So look into it. Don't rush out of any situation. You understand? Look into it. It has happened. You're out of it. Look back and go, if it's possible, journal the process, journal everything. You'll see the silver lining, out of all the dark clouds. And things will happen. I'll tell my 13-year-old self that you will experience a lot of change. A lot of change. You change schools, you will change cities, you will be sick.
Hmm. Hmm.
You would relocate, but take every detour as a divine appointment.
Hmm.
Yes, as a divine appointment. Stay curious, stay humble, and stay anchored in God's love.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful. Every mistake, and there's a question. One of our audience have
Mm,
posted a question. I want us to take that question before we leave. But I
mm,
love the fact that you said there is a clue in
mm.
every mistake. There is
Yes.
a treasure to
Yeah.
unfold, to
Mm,
unravel. That's
mm.
Romans 8:28. Like all things work together for
Good
good.
to
Yeah,
them that love God.
and are
Yeah.
called according to his
Yeah.
purpose, right?
Yeah.
So I love that perspective, looking at
Mhm,
mistakes, not to be afraid of it, because sometimes we're too
mhm,
afraid of making mistakes to even
mhm.
leave, to even
Yeah.
try, to
Yeah.
even chase dreams, to even
Yeah.
call our children. Some people are too afraid of mistakes, that they don't allow their children to have
To
certain
try
experiences.
things.
Oh,
Yeah.
you cannot go to camp. Oh,
Mm,
you can't play this sport.
mhm,
You're gonna hurt
mhm,
yourself.
mhm.
So because we are afraid of what could go wrong,
Yeah.
meet them. How about looking forward to what could go right?
Yeah.
How about thinking about things that we might potentially miss out on because
Mm,
we are so much afraid
yeah.
of
An
what could
example,
happen?
uh, an example that just came into my heart right now, uh, is the story of Moses.
Okay.
Now, while he was still in the palace in Egypt, one day he just went ahead and he was not happy with the way the Hebrews were being treated. And he just went ahead and defended an Hebrew boy and killed that guy in process.
Mm,
Ha! That was a grievous mistake. Like, that was the biggest mistake of his life. That
mm,
mistake turned him into a fugitive. He
mm,
was hiding. Like, I can imagine what he went through. He went through shame, rejection, everything, was afraid, but that was the pointer. That
mm,
thing, that was the pointer. So if Moses,
mm,
looked into it very, say, you're supposed to be the deliverer. So there's always
mm.
your destiny is hiding in that mistake. If you
Those
look into it
clues.
properly, exactly those clues in
Mm.
the mistakes.
And that's why it's important as parents to sit with the mistake,
Yes,
talk
yes,
about it,
mhm,
reflect, like you said, help
yeah,
our children to process it.
mm-hmm,
Said
mm-hmm,
that reflection is the currency for
yeah,
conversion,
mm-hmm,
converting that pain into purpose,
yes,
converting that wound into
mm-hmm,
wisdom. As
yes,
parents, as we are that voice to kind of sit them down and help
mm-hmm,
them reshape
yeah,
properly. There are people who have allowed things that have happened to them
mm-hmm,
as frame their identity.
mm-hmm,
They start
mm-hmm,
believing, well, because maybe the way they've concluded in their hearts that okay, I'm no longer a girl because of all these things that have happened to me, or
Yes.
so many things happen. And I thank God that, at least our audience listening in now, will be that voice of change. I want to ask a
Yeah.
question that, that was posted in the chat. The
Hmm.
question is what age are we are they? I think they're speaking to children now. What
Okay.
age are children allowed to make their own decisions?
Hmm.
What age? Is it 18? Is it 21? Is it 10? Is this I kind of have some thoughts around this. as as
You are
as
the children teacher. Oh. I
Oh
think
my
you need to
gosh.
answer that question.
No, I want to hear your thoughts.
I will
You
say
are the
my own.
reinvention. You are the
I will say
reinvention
my
coach.
own as a parent.
Okay. No what?
Not
So
as a children teacher. Oh. Me,
no.
I'll say, look, let them make their decision at any age.
You see,
Whether they are
we're in the spirits. That's what I said.
whether they are 2 year old or they are 21 year old, let them make their decision. The only thing is you are there to guide them.
Guide. Mm-hmm.
You are there to guide them. So let them take their own decisions, but evaluate it. You
Mm-hmm.
evaluate it. Oh, you want to go for sports? No problem. Have you
Mm-hmm.
thought about this, that? Let them think about it. Let them make their own decisions. Let them make their decisions. But you are there to guide them and give them your own perspective. But
Mm-hmm.
and I'm saying this because look, we are parents now, but we've been kids before.
Ah.
Like I always tell my children, look,
Boy gets.
I didn't just drop from heaven and I just became your mom. I've once been a child. So the thing
Yes.
is, I know the import. My son still asked me a question, maybe earlier this morning. Say, Mom, you said something one time like that when you were growing up, you wanted to be a was that a journalist or a newscaster or something like that? I said, yeah. You are very true. I wanted to. So why didn't you
What
do that?
happened?
I said my parents did not allow me.
They said no.
Ah, my parents said no. They didn't know better in their generation. In their own generation, they believe that they should choose everything for you. They should choose your career, choose your friends, choose everything for you. But the truth is, now that we are adults, we're figuring things out. We keep seeing that the things that we do naturally, they were the things that we actually were connected to when we were so young. The things that we really now we can do them. Those things with some people are now going back to the tailoring that they should have done that they said they should not do. Now that they've graduated with first class, they are now sewing clothes. They are now fashion designers. Something that they should have just let them go and do their thing jejely. So let them make their decisions. But we guide them with principles, we guide them with wisdom, we instill values in them, and we allow the Holy Spirit to. And that's why we should introduce the Holy Spirit to our children at
Early.
very early, so that the Holy
Mm,
Spirit will guide them.
mm,
Always reemphasize, like I tell my kids all the time, look, I can guide you. That's if I see you. If I
mm,
don't know what you are doing in school. When I'm not there, when I'm not at home, I don't know. But there's somebody who will always guide you. And that's the Holy Spirit. So allow
mm.
yourself to, have a solid relationship with the Holy Spirit and let your ears be open to what He's saying to you. So yes,
Absolutely.
that's my answer, really.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was not going to say wait to a certain age.
Yeah,
As
no.
long as a child is able to tell right from wrong. In
Yeah.
fact, even as I'm thinking of toddlers now. You put them
Mm,
in their high chair. You're trying to feed
mhm,
them food, and they do like this. Is
mm.
that not a decision?
It is.
I don't want it. They,
Mm.
they don't have vocabulary yet.
Yes.
Their
But
gestures
they are
complicated.
communicating.
They are pointing
Mm.
like this.
Yeah.
I want this. They're not saying I want. They're pointing.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
when they are young, I guess maybe we pay so much attention. We read them even without vocabulary. A mother knows what the child
Yes.
needs.
Yeah.
It
Mm-hmm.
was through the power of observation.
Yes. Yeah.
And we're seeing that they have that decision making capacity, and we keep guiding. As they grow older, you're pulling back more and more and
Mm-hmm.
more and more, because again, you
Yeah.
want them to be confident. And I don't know any other environment than in the instrument, in the faculty of
Mm-hmm.
family,
Yeah.
a child can safely make
Mm.
as many mistakes as you
Mm.
can.
Yeah.
You have your parents there,
Mm.
trusted adults, to
Yeah.
guide you through That's make the mistakes now.
Mm.
Make the mistakes now. So,
Yeah.
anyways, I know you have some we have overshot our time. I was having such a good time. I know you
Yeah.
have some exciting news for us. Something
Yes.
coming up.
Uh-huh.
You cannot hear the reinvention coach. On
Ah.
your screen here, you see a QR code, and I'm just gonna let her just talk to us about
All
what's
right.
coming.
All right. So we have a launch coming up for the River Nexus community. And we've been doing things, internally here and there. But now we want to open the community up to women who are in transition. And the
Mm,
thing is, we are always, always in transition. Like I say, whether you are transitioning from being a single person to marriage, you are transitioning into motherhood, you're relocating, you're switching careers, you're in divorce, you just end the divorce happened, you're transitioning, things like that. And you need a support system, or you want to start a new thing, you want to start a new business, you're beginning again, but it's not like you're starting your life from scratch, you're starting from a place of wisdom. You want to change the narrative about yourself, and you need people who would go with you, hold your hand in that transformational journey. And that's the reason why we're having River Nexus community. Is an ideal resource hub where you're exposed to peer people who are in the same peer with you, who can help you, who can journey with you. You're exposed to mentors on different issues and all that. Most importantly, you just have a family of people that you can relate with, you can talk to, and then we can grow together. So the launching is happening November the 15th. That's in 2 weeks, in exactly 2 Saturdays from now. Oh my God,
mm.
I was saying that with my team this morning. I'm like, you guys, I can't, don't tell me, guys, it's just 2 Saturdays to go. Uh, all right. So, and I'm inviting us to join. I'm telling you, even the launch itself is going to be explosive. You need to see the lineup of
Oh gosh.
speakers. Is it's going to be explosive. Like, I can't even imagine anyone missing it. I
Mm,
really, and the QR code is there for you to be on the waiting list so that we can send you the information, or you follow us on River Nexus on Instagram. You have the information. So yeah, we'll be more than happy to have you there. Yeah. And
yes.
even men, you're welcome to at least watch us online on the day of the launching. You're welcome.
Wonderful. I
Thank
look
you so
forward
much.
to it. And it's a
Yeah.
beautiful community and you're
Yeah.
doing great work. And thank you
Thank
for
you.
being with us here today.
Of course.
I do see additional questions in the chat, but we will hold that. We will disciplining your children is
Send it.
another conversation. We're bringing another guest to handle discipline. So don't worry.
Yeah, that's
Keep
good.
following us. We're going to have such rich conversations together. Again,
Yeah.
this is Launch and Learn series. We're sharing real stories by real people to
Mm-hmm.
help you along your parenting journey. So I
Yeah.
hope you've gleaned value from our conversations today. Mistakes will happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would.
And I want you to tell yourself. In fact, sometimes we need to forgive our own inner child.
Yes,
We have
you need
not
to forgive
forgiven
yourself.
ourselves for
Mm-hmm.
the mistakes we have made as children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then that's the power of the mind is so vivid. So let go, let the Holy Spirit wash over you, pray about it, let the Holy Spirit be in the room with you, uncovering
Mm-hmm.
all these layers of hurt and pain.
Mm.
Please stop remembering what God has forgiven and forgotten.
Yes, even God
Stop.
doesn't remember.
He does not even remember it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Please let go so that you are free enough as a parent to be available, not just physically, but also emotionally for your child, for
Yeah.
children. So I'm so excited. We'll see you again. Thank you. Much love to everyone in the chat. My
Yeah.
friends, I see family. I love you so much. Thank you for being with us on this episode
Yeah.
of Lunch and Learn series. And visionary Tobiloba, hugs and kisses. Thank you for being with us today.
You're most
We love
welcome.
you.
Bye. It's my
Bye.
pleasure. All right. Bye.